So listen, there's been like a lot of controversy around. I think a lot of banter around this cop that shot a hoop, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I think it looked terrible, right? And Post puts out the article. The Post titles the article: NYPD cop caught on video shooting hoops in the yard of a burning New York City home. It's diabolical, right? So of course we made fun of it. We put the cop at the NBA draft. We call it NYPD Hoop Dreams. But you guys as supervisors, as executives, I mean, from my level, from a lieutenant, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, and I spoke to Eric about it as well, and he feels the same as me. I'm like, I think because it went viral, you have to address it regardless it went viral or it didn't. But I think because it went viral, you might have to take a little bit more of a step than you would normally take. I think it's not a big deal. I think it's stupid. I think it doesn't. I don't know this cop. He could be a good cop. He could be a bad cop. Making a dumb mistake at the scene of an emergency doesn't determine your career. I don't think that, I think all the comments that we've been getting are fire him, which I'm like, what? Or it's nothing. It's not a big deal. It wasn't his job. It was the fire department job. And I'm like, I think they're two extremes. And I'm like, can't we just say that like that wasn't right and that's stupid? So I'm just curious from the executive perspective, like what do you guys think about that, Ron? If you don't mind going first, like what did you think when you saw the video? I'll pull the video up here.
Yeah, I just thought that it was poor taste, poor judgment. I mean, listen, when Rob and I were cops, we were always taught act like you're always going to be on video. That's how you should present yourself in the public and act. And today it's just the truth, not even just body worn camera wise. Everybody's got a cell phone out. Everybody's got HD video out. There's the very inexpensive security cameras everywhere. So you have to act accordingly. And I just think this was just like you said, a lack of judgment. Listen, you're at the fire scene. Our job is life safety, crowd control. There was no crowd there, right? Traffic safety to make sure that the firefighters have their, clear path to the fire. They're working a 4-alarm fire. Someone's critically injured. So it's all hindsight is 2020. But what did he really do? He wasn't thinking. He probably was standing in the back or however he wound up being in the back of that house where the fire is blazing in his background of that video. And he sees a ball, he picks up the ball and he throws an air ball. But just, here we go back to perception. And the perception is a lack of empathy that he's there. Someone's house is burning down. It winds up that someone's critically injured. The firefighters are risking their lives to fight this fire. And he's just, shooting hoops. Technically, from an executive perspective, it was dopey. But I don't know, like you said, because it went viral, will the job do something about it? I don't know. I think it might go away because I don't know what do you have him on? Rob, what do you think?
I just think, well, first of all, it's an air ball, right? So he wasn't even really good at it. So I think if he made the basket, maybe it would have been a little better. But you remember years ago, they were so happy when guys were playing basketball and stuff with all the kids in the schoolyard and stuff. And I hated that too. I just felt that doesn't look appropriate for us. I think you need to be alert at all times. I mean, you don't know, was that an arson? Was that somebody else? Was that a homicide scene? And the burning the house down to cover up the crime scene. There's a lot of things, and just him showing the lack of just respect and just discourteous towards the public. I don't think it's a the right look at all. I just think it's a lackadaisical attitude. Hey, I'm here, I'm bored or whatever, and I'm going to shoot the hoop. Do I think the guy should get hammered? Absolutely not. He needs to be educated. He has to get a little bit of schooling and bring him up to speed. And I would even show him the video. Dude, look how you look when you're throwing this basketball. So I mean, yeah, the perception is bad, and because, like you said, Ron, the cameras are on us all the time, and you have to make sure that perception is decent. Remember, you're representing 35,000 cops, or what is it, 33,000 now, right? We're losing cops every day. But let's respect the uniform and respect what you're doing. And there's a job to do there, right? So whether it's crowd control or whether it's an investigation or keeping people back, God forbid somebody from a family member started running in and say, my family's in there, my family's in there. You got to be able to prepare to stop that person, right? To keep them safe. So I just think it's a serious retraining issue. I don't think I would hurt them any other, no way would I hurt them. I think it's just a training issue.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I was so taken back. I think the funniest thing I got called on Twitter, and again, we didn't post the video originally. We posted it after it had already came out in the post. The video was out, so we put the Chariots of Fire soundtrack with it. I can't play it here, or we'll get taken down. But we played the Olympic song, so we played that, him shooting the air ball. We were just kind of making fun of it. But the comments that we got, I was like, oh my! I was like, is there any in between anymore? It's like everyone's either literally fire this kid. This is horrible, and I get the rage from some people that it's horrible because I've been to the scenes of fire. I actually been to the scene of a fire of a cop that I worked with, of his house burning to the ground, and I saw how traumatic it was for him. And people react differently, my house got destroyed in Sandy. I didn't give a shit. My neighbors were all crying. I was kind of trying to keep the smile off my face. Because I was like, I didn't even give a shit. I was like, whatever. My neighbor was like, I think she was married for 40 years. She's like, my wedding album. I was like, yeah. I was like, my wedding album's there. I was like, I still haven't looked at it. I never even looked at it. And I was just trying to look at the positive. I was like, listen, nobody died, thank God, And probably it seems like at this fire, it was a similar thing. So I understand the enragement. And I think the social media era of policing has really blurred the lines of what's right in uniform, what's right on a job. Obviously, we're the assisting agency at the scene of a fire, but we should be acting like the assisting agency. We shouldn't act like we don't give a shit, like we don't have anything to do there. We actually have a lot of responsibility at the scene of an at a fire, an active fire. I mean, we have a ton of responsibility to allow the passage, to get the FDNY trucks to where they are, to keep them safe and secure, to keep the scene secure. So to just take a shot in the hoop of somebody's house that's burning, terrible, terrible, bad look. But at the same time, I'm watching cops and supervisors come at me like, oh, you're Antifa boy. You're like an Antifa. I was like, okay, I'm an Antifa boy. I was like, this isn't a big deal, right? If your house was on fire, you wouldn't be mad if the cops were shooting hoops in your backyard, right? You wouldn't think something's wrong with that. You wouldn't show the lack of empathy there. And I don't know where we're headed as a society. And honestly, in policing and law enforcement, if this is the take, it's such extremes. It's like the difference between watching Fox and CNN. It's just extremes on every side. It's like you either have to back the blue all the time. You can never call out anything, or they have to be fired. They're not human. They can never make a mistake.
Yeah, I think that it's just an optic thing. And I think what people in the chat will understand that are from the job is that we tend to remove ourselves, from these things, and emotionally remove ourselves from scenes. And I've seen it time and time again when we were on crime scenes, right? You go to a homicide scene, you got the yellow tape up, you got a body laying under a bloody sheet in the street. That's somebody's family member. No matter what the circumstances are, no matter what type of a shooting it is, that's somebody's family member. There's some kind of tragedy that happened, and what do you constantly see? You see a circle jerk of executives or cops standing around, shooting the shit, laughing, joking. And I used to walk up all the time, guys, there's cameras all around. Don't stand here and joke. I understand that we're separated from it, and this is a job for us, and we're doing it, and we're just having a conversation while we're waiting for the chief to show up, or the ME to show up, or the squad, to get here, or whatever the case may be. But you constantly see that at these crime scenes is, cops getting caught smiling, laughing, joking, and people, the optics of it is that people think that we don't care. So it shows a lack of empathy when it's our nature as police a lot of times to just remove ourselves completely from the situation, not really think about the big picture.
I think Marlon, right? Marlon uses perception management, and sometimes he uses it in a different tone. But right there, I think you need perception management, right? So when you're, like Ron just said, when you're standing at a crime scene and everybody, and you know what, cops, they joke around, and that happens all the time. But the problem is the person that's the family member to the victim sees the cops laughing. Now I'm guaranteeing it's not even relevant to that crime scene. Somebody said a stupid thing. We all do, right? And everybody's laughing, and then the media hones in on it, and you see the guy laughing. It's like, oh, this is funny. There's a poor person that just got shot and killed right there, and these cops are joking around. Well, yeah. So I mean, you're right. You gotta manage that, and not give the perception that it's funny.
You've just watched a clip from our latest live episode. Click the description to watch the full episode. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos just like this.